chose their king, their power was met, but we don't answer to Ottawa yet. No crown gave us what we've earned, just dirt and fire and lessons learned. Now the ground it shakes, the steel it groans, and Alberta walks alone. We ride sovereign steel through fire, through frost. We ain't the last, we're the line they lost.
Hello, hello. Hey, there we go. We got some audio. Oh my God. Thanks for sticking around and thanks for being patient while I work out the stuff. Well, it's 7-Eleven daily summary, and this is Bruce Scholl. Obviously, very excited to be here as usual. I've got Mr. Carney here, a special occasion to have him on here going through our money like he does. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for joining me on Unscrew the News. This is 7-Eleven Daily Summary. And tonight's a little bit different. Maybe not so much, but I haven't got anything specific. We have so much to go through, so much to talk about. I had a great guest last night. Chris Dacey from Dacey Media was here. I'm looking forward to doing some more stuff with him over the next little while because he is in my city of Calgary. Exciting to have someone like him in the area. Great to have him because we're going to continue to uncover the truth. And I do like his take on things. And I think that we complement each other well. It was a good show last night. Anyway, like I always say, it is an extraordinary time to be alive. And I'm so grateful that you're here. Make sure to share this information out, get some more people to get some more eyeballs on this information. We need to wake more Canadians up. You guys, are you excited? We are about to have a referendum to drop the dead weight of Canada. We're about to lose the anchor and set out on our own. This is such an exciting time to be an Albertan. And you've heard me say this many times before, but I was a huge, huge loyalist. You can ask my family. I was such a loyal patriot to Canada. And honestly, after May, I have just had to pull back and, rethink my loyalties and really have given up on the rest of Canada after that last election where you guys put this elbows up moron back in back into power, or not back into power, but really into power. This WEF UN banking globalist piece of garbage. Anyway, so we are going to talk about some things as usual. Thank you so much for being here. God bless you. You make this show possible, and I appreciate your wanting to participate in freedom and wanting to participate in a sovereign state of Alberta and a sovereign nation, and build a great future for your family for generations to come. So I appreciate you being here for that, because it is so important to complete this task. And honestly, I don't see another way out of this. It is that we create a nation, or we just cave in and continue down the complete dystopian nightmare of digital ID, social credit system, track and trace. You won't be able to buy anything that you want to buy because they'll be telling you what you can and cannot purchase. They'll tell you where you can and cannot go. You'll be tracked. You'll be eyeballed wherever you go, whatever you're doing. 1984 is, a very, very real possibility. And I don't mean to scare anyone, but you got to watch it if you haven't, or read it. It's up to you. But anyway, thank you for being here. As usual, I like to start off by saying thank you. Thank you to my family, friends, and my circle of influence over the last 5 years. That really did change. You may have been subject to the same sort of adjustments in your life when we were told we weren't able to travel, go to a restaurant, go to a movie, and you were shunned because of choices that you made for your own bodily choices. Anyway, those challenges really do make us stronger. And, Unscrew the News was born out of the challenges that we faced. But again, I'm appreciative of you being here. So, but I do want to say thank you also to a local business that I love to support, and I only love to support it because it is so critical at this time. If you don't realize how quickly things are getting out of control as far as pricing is concerned, and that really destabilizes markets around the world, it's not just us, it's United States, Europe. Um, it- this is a global incident, and it's not by accident. Anyway, I won't go into that, but I do suggest getting gold and silver only because it protects your wealth. These phony, fake fiat dollars that you have, the fiat currency that is in your wallet or in your pocket or in your bank account, which is not really there. It's just ones and zeros, and you don't really own it anyway. But gold and silver in your hand, in your home, in your safe, in your safety deposit box, that is yours. And you may be able to, buy groceries. You may be able to pay a mortgage. You may be able to buy the things when the shit hits the fan. Anyway, get gold and silver, nuggetsnacker.com. Go through my website. You can get a bit of a discount. Give them a call if you have any questions. If this is new to you, give them a call, 1-866-644-2121. I do suggest getting that. Silver is just on a tear at this point. It dropped a bit today, but it's still, I think it was 85 and change, so 85.50 per ounce for silver. And 10 years ago, dudes, I was buying it for $20 an ounce, and I thought that was a lot. Anyway, get your gold and silver. All right, moving on. I am coming to you from the heart of the battle-ready nation of Alberta. We bring you truth and optimism. Our goal is to break free from the media globalist mind control. It is December 12th. Can you believe it? December 12th. December 12th, 2025. Looks like we have about, what do we have? 28, no, 18 days until the end of this year. 18 days. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Anyway, this is episode number 236 that you have been with me. 236 episodes. This is recent events that make you go, All right. Again, I appreciate you being here. Please, I'm looking for comments. I'm looking for complaints. I'm looking for emails. You can send it through Twitter, X, Rumble, BitChute, Twitch. Let me see. I'm also on Telegram. We are all live streaming on yournews.com right now. And anyway, love to have your comments. Love to have anybody reach out if you have any comments or concerns. So let's talk about Alberta and what is going on here. I am going to bring this up right now. We're going to talk about this. Obviously, I'd like to go through some of the stuff that's going on here. We have got Alberta succession. Why? Much confusion about equalization process and exactly how much Alberta contributes to Canada. Almost $40 billion. I don't know if I can open this up big enough that we can actually see it. Maybe that's pretty good, but we know that there's a lot of money going to Canada. And the question always is, if we were not part of Canada and they asked us to join, would that be a reasonable request? And would you join Canada if we were not part of the union at this point? And that helps you. It might help you, get those wheels turning, and help you decide, because we have the opportunity. I've said this many, many times, and I'll continue to say it until we reach our goal. Is that this is like being on the Titanic. Being in Canada is like being on the Titanic. We've hit the icebergs and we're going down. And instead of rearranging the deck chairs and listening to fun music and maybe sniffing your brandy, You need to get your life belt on. Get your life belt on. All right, everyone, get to the life rafts. Get your life belt on. Get out there. And you know what? This is what we're building here in Alberta. We are building the life raft to sail off and be rescued. No, you know what? We're not going to be rescued. We are going to be the rescuees, the rescuers, because we are creating this fantastic opportunity here in Alberta. We're going to have businesses clamoring to be here because it'll be an open market. Open market. That doesn't mean that we don't have guide rails, that we don't have guardrails, that we'll say that we obviously we want a clean environment. Obviously, we don't want to have, bitumen just like flowing down the road. We don't want to have stinky chemicals. We don't want to have destroy our food processing. We want to have all of the cleanest. And the globalists have been working in contrary to your health, to your benefit, to your success. We are going to kick them to the curb, and we're going to put up some beautiful, beautiful walls here to keep all of you and my family safe in this gorgeous, gorgeous republic of Alberta. Who will come up with the theme music, the music for Alberta? Who will come up with the logo for our, or the crest, or whatever you want to call it, for our Republic of Alberta? Do we go with the same one? Anyway, Table Salt posted this major breaking. Saskatchewan independence movement has been born. Notably, Saskatchewan polls higher than Alberta to leave Canada in the mid-30s. Let's effing go. Time to end the Confederation. Saskatchewan groups seeking independence from Canada, holding meetings across the province. Politics professor says any separatist effort would face major legal hurdles. Yeah, except if enough people get behind it. And I don't know if a Saskatchewan be polling higher than Alberta. That would be great if they are. But I know that we are certainly, at least half of the province is saying, yeah, let's go. Jeffrey Rath posted today, he said, Exxon announced that it is backing off on carbon capture and hydrogen investments in the US and around the world, as they don't make money and are ineffective at cutting emissions in any event. Have a nice day. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Jason Levine. Jason Levine's going to be on next Wednesday. He's going to have his own meeting with Minister Amory on the Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to having him on Wednesday when we can talk about his meeting with Mickey Amory. Jason Levine, Alberta Independence Reason 1801. Across Alberta, more and more Status Indians and First Nations members are speaking openly about wanting independence from Ottawa, not to separate from Alberta, but to finally escape the federal system that has controlled their lives for 150 years. I don't know. I'm not an expert on it, but from what I can tell, this is the direction that you want to go. We all know that Ottawa has controlled First Nations, the Indian reserves, and they're a disaster for the most part. Obviously, not every one of them, but corruption is abounding, filth, lack of clean water, lack of safe environments for your family. Let's reimagine everything, don't you think? I mean, I think Bruce Party says it best. As one Status Indian recently put it, treaty lands remain treaty lands. They could remain so, or negotiate a new deal with an independent Alberta. A much better deal than being slaves to the government of Canada. For sure. I mean, you're a 100% slave, dependent on the government for handouts all the time. I'm a Status Indian, and many of us support independence from the liars in Ottawa. That is, I believe, the way that we should go. But we should have discussions about it. And that's what we're doing on a daily basis here. For many Indigenous Albertans, the Indian Act is not protection. It is an outdated, paternalistic, and deeply discriminatory piece of legislation created by Ottawa. It's really a prison. If you think about it, it's really a prison without walls, right? You're a slave. You have to stay on these lands essentially. And really, the restrictions and obviously handouts seem like a good idea at first, but they really are like handcuffs, and they keep you from being prosperous, successful, entrepreneurial. I think that's the ultimate. If you have to strive and scrounge and come up with a way to be successful, that's the Alberta spirit, don't you think? Is really just get out of my way, make government as small as possible, and I'm going to work to create a business, a solution, a plan for my community, for my family, and so that we can make the world better, in our small community, and then that in turn makes our larger communities successful and prosperous. For many Indigenous, okay, I'm going to go on to this. It has restricted economic freedom, limited self governance, and created a system where Indigenous people are treated as wards of the federal government instead of full equal citizens. 100%. This is well done, Jason Levine. Treaties, meanwhile, were negotiated with a foreign crown imposed through Ottawa's authority. Today, they often freeze Indigenous people in a legal framework that prevents true modern self-determination. The result is a divided society. One group ruled directly by Ottawa, another ruled indirectly through treaties. Neither system reflects freedom. An independent Alberta would allow for something Ottawa has never offered: self-determination for all Albertans together, right? This I think is a great way. So we don't need to have a label other than being an Albertan. What's wrong with that? Why do we need to have cubby holes? Why do we need to have labels other than just an Albertan? Male, female, we can all be together, just Albertans, and we all have the same rights. No second class citizens, no federal control over Indigenous identity or governance, no racist Indian Act, no distant bureaucracy deciding who is allowed to prosper. In Alberta's constitutional convention, First Nations would have a strong and respected voice, not as dependents of Ottawa, but as equal founding partners in building a new nation. A free Alberta would create a future where every person, Indigenous or non-Indigenous, has the same rights, the same opportunities, and the same ability to shape the destiny of this land. In a strong and free Alberta, we all rise together. Oh, that is so well done, Jason. Hats off to you. Here's another reason to get the hell out of Dodge. The architect, the CCP takeover of Canada rolls on literally. What is Wyatt Claypool saying here? This left-wing account on X was signaling during the election that Michael Ma had a potential CCP issue. And as people are looking more into Michael, it's becoming clear that that's a problem. But soon after Michael crossed the floor, the left-wing account deleted its information about him. Funny how they're now trying to cover up his CCP issues when he's playing for their team. Isn't that interesting? Oh, let's see here. Salty Albertan. Sometimes she comes up with some interesting stuff. I think it's high time for some full transparency from the chiefs in Alberta. We demand a full forensic audit of every sitting chief for the last 15 years, force them to open the cooked books. Why are there people living in squalor with no clean water and proper housing? Where did the money go? We have a right to know. They stomp their feet and make demands daily. Meanwhile, there is zero transparency as to how the funds given to them are allocated. Forensic audit now. Alberta, it's time we make our own demands. All right, let's see here. Michael Ma. There's a lot of talking about Michael Ma here. Hate speech. This one's talking about hate speech. And let me see, was it jailing our pastors? Yeah. This is just somebody copied it from Facebook. So Free Alberta says this. Thank you for your service, Minister. It's to Dreeshen. While I applaud many of the UCP policies, they are quickly overshadowed by the fact that Alberta has put more pastors in jail over ridiculous mandates and, as of late, compelled apologies more than China and North Korea that we know of. I mean, truly. These are stains on this government and the people of Alberta. It is embarrassing to explain to my relatives in Europe and friends in the US and other places what Alberta has become. They are all under the impression that our province was the land of freedom and opportunity. If you wish our province to be strong and free, you can't act weak and oppressed and allow us as citizens to become incarcerated over what socialists call hate speech. After all, hate speech is just speech they hate. Okay, well said, John Husing. I think his name, John Husing. Yes, excellent. We got enough problem and going into Elon Omar and the Somalians. Mike Lindell. I love the guy, and he's a full on Christian and obviously a recovering drug addict and successful. And then he has put all his eggs into the basket and is now running for governor of Minnesota. And I love him for it. So good for you. Obviously, Keith Wilson's doing a great job. Let's hope that he gets the opportunity to have a debate with Thomas Lukazik, I don't know what I could call him, but he is now being called to Ottawa to help Carney understand probably how to crush Albertans. That's probably the only thing that makes sense. Tina Peters, this is great. Trump announced a full pardon to Tina Peters. However, the presidential pardons only cover federal crimes, and it does not apply to her Colorado state conviction. She remains incarcerated. Oh, okay, so that's unfortunate. Let's hope that changes, because Tina Peters is like the keystone to uncovering the 2020 election coup. The coup to take over the presidency. Let's see here. What else? Let me get this straight. Oh, Antonio tweets. So let me get this straight. We aren't good enough for our own pipeline, but Canada is helping Ukraine build theirs. Fuck, people are dumb. Elbows up. Morons, liberals are the cancer of our society. Well, Antonio, let's talk about this briefly. But Brookfield obviously has, more than likely will have contracts in the Ukraine to rebuild, and they have lots of oil production and transferring going on in the States. So they make lots of money moving oil through pipelines in the United States, but we're not allowed to do that here in Canada. They also keep their money offshore so they don't pay any taxes, because you don't want Brookfield, which is soon to be called Brooklandia. Instead of being Canada, we're going to be Brooklandia, or Brookfieldlandia, or Brookfield Land, or something like that. So we need out. We need out of this insanity. Okay, this is getting back to the dystopian 1984. Mark Nixon. This is from yesterday, day before. Breaking Canada signs deal with the EU to make digital IDs interoperable across borders. It's called a Memorandum of Understanding on Digital Credentials, Digital Identity Wallets, and Trust Services. Translation, they're building the infrastructure for the global ID compliance. As you probably understand if you haven't been paying attention, but Australia has implemented their digital ID for accessing the internet. That's where it starts. because they make it sound like they're protecting your children and making sure that they're safe and they're not going to be able to see any porn by making sure that they sign in, and everybody has to sign in to use the internet, which is complete garbage. Complete garbage. We will not stand for that here. Number one, the new Canada EU Digital Pact follows the June 2025 commitment to align digital frameworks and establish interoperable digital identities. The Digital ID, the Digital ID and Authentication Council of Canada fully endorsed it, calling it a mutual recognition opportunity. Canada and the EU will now jointly test and pilot digital identity wallets using a new expert forum to ensure both systems work together seamlessly, and they can easily throw you into jail because you spoke out against it. I just threw that in there. They'll also share data by best practices and explore mutual recognition standards. That means your Canadian digital ID could soon function under EU frameworks and vice versa. This is being co-chaired by Evan Solomon. We love that guy from CBC, don't we? Canada's new Minister of AI and Digital Innovation. Oh, yay, Evan Solomon. Go, yay. So while Canadians struggle with housing, jobs, inflation, Ottawa is laser focused on biometric integration and cross border surveillance tech. They're not hiding it anymore. No, they're hiding it only because they want to keep you busy. Remember how you're struggling to make ends meet. You're struggling to pay the bills. You're struggling because you're working 2 and 3 and maybe even 4 jobs, so you can just pay the bills. And meanwhile, they're going to crush you by instituting these things while you're sleeping, while you're working, while you're focused on taking care of your family, because you're too busy to dissent, to speak out, to say anything, to stand up for your rights and your family. So that's what we're doing today. That's what we're doing every day. That's what we're going to be doing. By the way, we have to, as of, I think it's January 11th, don't quote me on that, but January 11th, you guys, everybody needs to participate. Everybody needs to gather signatures for this petition. We need to gather 1 million names. We need to gather 1 million or more plus names for this petition just to force them to have a referendum. Once we have 1 million names for the petition, we can utilize that list, that momentum, and push through on a referendum. Once we get a referendum, by the way, I want to give you the sunshine. I want to give you the light at the end of the tunnel, because when we get a referendum and we get a vote, let's say it's 64% of Albertans have now voted to exit Canada. All we need is a couple of countries, like let's say that large country of about 350 million people to the south of us. All they have to do is recognize us as a nation, as a Republic of Alberta, as an independent sovereign nation, and we are off to the races. That's not saying we won't have any roadblocks and the media, the lying media that we're going to kick to the curb. If you're a lying media, step away from the mic, step away from the camera. We are calling you out. And when we become a nation of Alberta, you will be kicked to the curb. We will not. This is something I haven't even thought about. You know what? You guys are the first to hear this rambling thought, spaghetti against the wall that I'm throwing out here. But really, this is something that we need to explore. As the nation of Alberta, we can have our own media. We don't need to have CTV bullshit. We don't need to have global garbage. We don't need to have city TV barf, that is continually streaming the propaganda and the globalist indoctrination that they want you to swallow. You won't be gargling in propaganda anymore. We kick them to the curb because we have big, beautiful walls around Alberta. Can you imagine? Ow! All right. This is. Sorry, I'm going back to the dystopian nightmare here. So if we don't do this, this is a reminder. If we don't do this, cucks like this guy right here, Chief Rutte, NATO Chief Rutte, we need to be ready. Russia has brought the war back to Europe. Carney will put your kids and they will put them in war. They will have them shot and exploded and dead because they want a war. They want a war. They want a war. If that's not obvious enough, you need to pay attention. Let's listen to this guy that says we need to be prepared for war, but it won't be him, and it won't be Macron and his jungle Jim used to be a male, now is his wife, and it will not be Carney and his kid that lives in New York. That's not a man, not a woman, maybe something, and his family. It won't be them going to war. It won't be Justin Trudeau and Xavier going to war. It'll be your kids. My kids.
We need to be ready, because at the end of this first quarter of the 21st century, conflicts are no longer fought at arm's length. Conflict is at our door. Russia has brought war back to Europe, and we must be prepared for the scale of war our grandparents and great-grandparents endured.
You know what that means, right? Is they want you out on the battlefield, killing your children, having your children murder other children so that you will be so distracted by war. They all start this way. They all end this way. They all want you distracted because the system is collapsing, and they need you distracted by war, some terrible, terrible tragedy, so that you will not pay attention as your money becomes worthless, as you're having to have wheelbarrows of Canadian dollars so that you can purchase a can of beans. Why? I think it's Weiberg, Germany. Look it up. The system is collapsing. And this is why I say get gold and silver, because you will not be spared necessarily, but you will certainly fare better than people that don't.
Imagine it. A conflict reaching every home, every workplace. Destruction, mass mobilization, millions displaced, widespread suffering and extreme losses. It is a terrible thought. But if we deliver on our commitments, this is a tragedy we can prevent. NATO is here to protect 1 billion people on both sides of the Atlantic. Our mission is to protect you, your families, your friends, and your future.
All right. In case you haven't been paying attention, I'm going to remind you that the cuck over in Ottawa has now exited us from our greatest neighbor to the south and said that he's joining the wagon of the EU and NATO and the EU, the European Union. So we are more European than we are American as far as he's concerned. And so guess what? They're going to be, so we've now given them money so that we can join them and get their protection, their military protection, because we are no longer friends with the United States because of Orange Man Bad. And now you will be asked to join this war and send over your children and sacrifice your families because they need bodies to throw in front of this to get control of the situation. And they want to get control of you. And they will do it for your safety because it will be so bad. You'll be begging. You'll be begging them to have some sort of semblance of sanity and peace and law and order and the ability to eat and not have to scrounge, for something to eat. I know this sounds terrible, but this is what they want you to have because they want to be the savior. Don't forget, they are all about saving you. And for your safety, then you'll have to take the universal basic income. You'll have to take the track and trace, the digital ID, the CBDC. So the digital money, essentially, so that you can be tracked and traced in the social credit system. I know it sounds bleak, so that's why I keep saying that we need to get out of this terrible, terrible country called Canada. All right, let's take a look. You know what? I was trying to look for something here. I'm just going to quickly look while you talk amongst yourselves. Oh, hang on 1 second. I'm queuing up another video here. We had I had seen it, and I really want to get her on. Kelsey Sharon. Kelsey Sharon was on Alex Jones here, talking about MAID, of course. And I'm going to bring this one up here instead. Let's put her on.
Actively killing people. And by killing people, I mean, we're not euthanizing you like we are in Canada. What we are actually doing is we are giving you a cup filled with a poison, and the poison is you were supposed to drink it. We have deaths on record of upwards of 137 hours to die. It is not peaceful. It's not compassionate. You have Hawaii, California, Colorado, Delaware, brand new one, by the way. Illinois just passed. You saw that come up on the screen. Montana, ironically, Republicans all voted for this. New Jersey, New Mexico, Oregon, Vermont, Washington, D.C., and Washington states. And with the medical error in the United States being the third leading cause of death, you are using this to cover up those deaths because the dead don't talk, they don't complain, they don't cause you to have any need to spend money on their pensions, on their disability, and they're expanding. Not only are they expanding, Alex, is we have individuals that are lobbying your United States government. I sat down with the United States State Department, and they said to me, we had no clue this was happening to the extent in which it was, but here we are. And so what we're seeing now is 20 other states have put bills forward that they are looking to expand. So this is not just going to be a blue state problem. Now we are running into the red states because it's a cost-saving measure. Currently in Canada, this is across the board. We have track 1 and track 2. Let me be very clear. Track 1 is for terminally ill only. You have to have an irremediable and grievous condition that neither the government will be willing to explain or break down what it actually means. Track that came in 2016. It was supposed to be compassionate and empathetic. Track 2 started in 2021. Track 2 is for non-foreseeable death. Alex, I currently qualify as track 2. We've had individuals with diabetes and hearing loss who have qualified. We have friends of mine like Roger Foley who are sitting in hospitals in London, Ontario.
So if you have cataracts, they'll kill you.
Okay, and just to give you some context, Kelsey Sharon, I want to get her on the show if we can. If you are able, you know her. I've reached out to her, but I need your help. If you're able to reach out to her and ask, I'd love to have her on. Anyway, as of from 2016, when they started the MAID program, which is medical assistance in dying, approximately 76,000 Canadians have been murdered using MAID, and that's 9 years of doing that program. So let's just continue listening to her for a second.
Oh, absolutely. And so here's where
they could just give you surgery.
Right. And so here's where
you got people they won't give surgeries and then kill.
None of this is a shock to me because I'm so in this subject now. Dying with Dignity has made a children's book, a children's coloring book. So this is not happening in hospitals. They want your family members to
So they're not just giving your 5-year-old a book about Santa's married to a man.
No.
They're teaching you how to tell me about this. Oh, they're teaching kids how to die? Wow.
Yeah, so on Dying with Dignity's own website, you guys can download a children's coloring book. And here's what they do, Alex. They bring you into a room. They bring all of your family in to witness it. They put 2 IVs in your arms. They push the drugs. And your lungs, after you are given the paralytic, go into a pulmonary edemic state. I said this on Jordan Peterson.
So they involve your family with the murder.
Absolutely. They want you to see it. They want you to, and you're going to fight it.
It's a cult.
This is right. It's a death cult.
And they know you then join the cult and support it because you have so much guilt.
Right.
Because of the Stockholm Syndrome, you become a servant of it.
Right.
Because you can't admit it's wrong.
Exactly. And that is where we're at in the country. So let's just be clear. Canada, U.S., Belgium, Australia, New Zealand.
No, I totally agree. The transgender thing is stalling out.
Yes.
Now they're launching kill your kids.
Absolutely. And that's coming. So it's not in law yet. So let's be very careful to say killing kids is not in law yet.
But let's be clear. I've talked to not just you, but leading experts have said the transgender thing, they'll still have their limited cult. They're going to go underground now, not push it, but they've got their big chunk of people to kill and maim and brainwash. But now they're going to turn that off and move to killing everybody.
The government here.
Yeah. So I know this is such an exciting situation, and okay. Hi, you. That's my cat. Sorry about that. Truth Seeker, like her, she's down in Austin, Texas, or around that area anyway. Let's just listen to what she has to say here, and hopefully I haven't had a chance to listen.
Saskatchewan here, who has a curable disease that was put on MAID. If you don't know what MAID is, it's medically assisted dying. And if you're like, why not? Because our healthcare system is absolute trash and shit. Never get public healthcare system, okay? So this is what happened. She needed a surgery. She couldn't get it in Saskatchewan. So her next option was to be flown into another province where she could get it done. But like the doctor that needs the referral isn't available because she's busy. So guess what they offered her? They offered her MAID and she was approved for it. Now, Glenn Beck in the United States here hears about this and goes, absolutely not. We must save this woman's life. Like, clearly the Canadian system is failing, and it is. So he is offering to pay to actually bring her to the United States to save her life. And guess what the fucking CBC does? Guess what these pieces of garbage do? They start going after Glenn Beck, saying he's only doing this for popularity points. But I found the chick that actually wrote this article, this stupid biatch, the See You Next Tuesday, and I looked into everything that you write about. So let's actually analyze what is going on in Canada. So this starts off with why U.S. conservative pundit Glenn Beck is offering help to 6 Saskatchewan women who applied for assisted death. Written by Ashwirara Duda, because she's doo-doo, because she's shit. Not because of your skin color, girl. Don't try that. It's because you're garbage. She wrote, McIntosh said this case aligns perfectly with Beck's political rhetoric. He said Beck is a longtime figure in America's far right, known for opposing public health care and criticizing Canada's single-payer system. He said this case was an opportunity for Beck to rile against public health care in general and MAID specifically. Oh my gosh, a normal person against medically assisted dying when you can actually save somebody? Oh my gosh, that is so bad. Yeah, it's definitely for political points. But what is it with you Canadians going after people who cannot afford living or are sad, or like in this case with Jolene, who can't get the help, always pushing people to MAID? What is it? Could it be this of what Justin Trudeau said? Remember when Justin Trudeau said this, the very concept of a nation funded by European settlers is offensive to me. Old stock white Canadians are an unpleasant relic and quite frankly replaceable, and we will replace them. Now, let's imagine if Jolene was from India. What would this Duda chick write? She'd probably be like, oh my goodness, my people can't get help. Canadians are so racist, right? That's what you would write, because most of your articles are focused on immigration and also skin color. But yet, it's so true that almost every Canadian is the one getting MAID. These white, old stock Canadians are the ones being pushed. And you can get MAID if you're broke, if you're sad, if you can't afford to live in Canada, because the Liberal Canadian governments want to replace.
And here's another stat for you. 96, listen to this, 96%, 96, that's 96, that's 4% that aren't. 96% of the people getting MAID out of that 76,000 people that I told you have taken the drugs to murder themselves are white. 96%.
You with idiots like Duda. There, I said it. I don't care who thinks that this is racist. It's the truth. And Duda here, along with the CBC, is literally writing an article about how broken our healthcare system is by saying it's not broken. It's the Americans' fault for seeing it. If you don't like...
Well said, Truth Seeker. Like you. Love you. Come on my show, Truth Seeker. Come on, let's do this. Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to end off here. This is the last thing I'm going to say, because obviously Calgary is critical to me, and it's really the bullseye, it's the target, it's the center of our nation of Alberta. I know Edmonton is where our where government is run out of, but Calgary, I think, is really the economic engine. This is where the oil and gas companies really are. So Anyway, Calgary's important to me. Kybird, love you. Continue doing some great work. Once again, YYCCC, that's the obviously council, shows who's running City Hall. Duckworth, who's the $400,000 a year guy that continues to spend enormous amounts of money going to, fancy hotels, fancy dinners, all on the Calgarians' dime. You need to know this, and you need to call these people out. Who asked for this, and how much time is actually spent in the office? It's time for City Hall to realize that the days of extravagance in downtown Calgary left in about 2006 or so. Enough with the spending. So this is an article, obviously, from the Calgary Herald. City administration recommends $150,000 standardized workstations, furniture for council ward offices. Can you believe it? So they want at least 14 administration and offices in the City Hall or something resembling that, and they want to have another $150,000 per. So what is that? $1.5 million plus another 4. So another 600,000. So $2 million essentially to standardize workstations and furniture for council. They are off their rocker. Nobody has been held accountable for Waterworld fiasco. Waterworld fiasco 2023 still outstanding, or 2024 still outstanding, and nobody has been held accountable. Duckworth needs to go. City Hall needs to be cleansed. It needs to be bleached. The administration of this City Hall needs to be obliterated. It needs to be cleaned out and cleansed. We need a cleaning at City Hall, and I'm sure Edmonton is just as bad. All right, everyone. I appreciate you being here. God bless you all. Thank you so much for participating in your success and your prosperity and this amazing Republic of Alberta. Let's stick together. Come on, you guys. Let's keep staying together. Keep your head on a swivel. And this is Bruce, and I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching Unscrew the News. I appreciate your participation in freedom in Canada. Share this information and help others to wake up. God bless.